And welcome back to the Crypto Flip podcast. We have my co-hosts here, Ricardo and Deji, and we're going to get straight into it with this week's confessions. So the
Go.
first one should be very interesting. My dad passed away in 2018, and I had to sell his decrepit, decrepit house to pay his outstanding bills, but managed to salvage 32K. Split between me and my sister, I left my 16K in a bank account relatively untouched until January 2021 when I was introduced to crypto. I I probably made about 100K, lost 80K, and spent 20K on festivals, holidays, drugs, and clothes. Here I am 5 years after my dad's passing with roughly the same amount I started with, all tied up in NFTs, shitcoins, Bitty, midcaps, and stables, poised and ready to mid curve my way through the next bull run. So he's got about what, 20K left, I think. No, 16K left. But he's done a lot of nothing. What do you guys think?
Honestly, I don't think he's in that bad a position.
Me neither.
We've heard worse for sure. We've definitely heard worse.
This
Yeah.
done rode a market cycle. All right, cool. Like, condolences for his losses. But he rode a cycle. He got some money. He sounded like he had a good time.
Yeah.
Some of that money ran out, and now he's got the same amount he started with. There's men that are, leveraging 400x and have lost their whole life savings. This guy's still got his 15 grand. He should be happy, bro. In my
He
opinion.
should be. He should be. There's that saying that, the moment you look at someone else's problems, you'll be happy with the problems you have. And I think that definitely applies in this case because to him, obviously, he's not making as much as he could have, and he's back to where he started. So he feels like he's not progressing, especially when you compare yourself to others. But it could be a lot worse. Being
100%.
like, loads of debt and
A lot worse. For real. Like if you see, like obviously he's all tied up in NFT shitcoins and beating mid cap stables, whatever. But at least he still has something left, you know what I'm saying? Other than just, you know what I mean? Like he obviously could have wasted all of it, but at least he has reserve left to obviously ride an explorer. So he's in a much better position than most other degenerates online trading cryptos. So yeah, man. Obviously, condolences on his loss, but he can definitely make it back in next bull run. I mean, just buy Bitcoin. That's all you need to do. Just buy Bitcoin.
But also, what I always say is that when it comes to crypto, there's always another opportunity. There's always another opportunity. You might have, there's always a new narrative. There's always new protocols. Um, there's always new projects launching. And obviously, I'm not saying chase shitcoins. I'm just saying there's like hidden gems and diamonds in the rough.
Yeah.
But worst case scenario, if you don't have the time to research and you're unsure about what you're doing, just play it safe with large caps, Bitcoin, Ethereum.
Yeah.
You probably won't go wrong, especially if you invested during the bear market. Yeah, that was a very interesting confession. Let's move on to the next
one. Positive as well, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a positive note to start. Positive note to start on for sure. So, my manager believes her husband is shooting blanks. I have similar features to her husband. So she offered me 300 USD in crypto for unprotected one night stands twice and a bonus of 8K USD in crypto if I got her pregnant. She gave birth recently and her husband has no idea the baby isn't his. Where do we start here?
Listen, needless to say, he took the money in it because I wasn't sure that he took the money or not. Obviously, he took the money. Obviously, he took the money. Guys, I've been seeing a lot of confessions for I think we've done 8 episodes now. This is probably the most craziest confession I've ever heard from. That this guy literally sold his unborn child for $600 plus 8K. So basically,
a bonus. End of year bonus.
Listen. Nah, man, I can't take him serious, man. He's a fucking wallet, fam. Like, obviously, in his mind, the only credit I can give him now is at least he took profit in crypto, not cash. Because that's obviously inflation and all that. You're gonna be the purchase price gonna decrease over time. So obviously he's getting paid in crypto. Good for him. But that is wild, fam. Like, that is just something you don't do that. You just don't do that. And that's fucked up. Fucked up.
Let me ask you, man, something. Would you do it?
What for 8K? Oh my god!
100%.
For 8K?
As a single man, yeah, if I was single, yeah, and somebody said to me, "Yo, listen, I'll give you 8 bags," because really, she's paying for a smash, bro.
Yeah.
She's paying
No,
for
no, no. She's paying for a smash. She's paying for a smash, and 8K if she gets pregnant.
Oh wait, was that the conditions I even?
Yeah.
8K bonus, bro. You get a bonus if you succeed.
I thought it was a package deal. Okay, cool.
Bro.
Would I have done it? I mean, some guys out there are paying for this, you know, they're paying for banks. So to me, this is a win-win. Obviously, I can say that because I'm not in the situation, but ultimately, yeah, obviously, I'd probably consider it a lot less.
Bro.
At the same time, I mean, what? But if she's Leng though, like realistically,
bro, I don't care if she's Leng or not, fam. She needs to up that price. Come on, fam. Like, come on, what?
So wait. What you're saying is you do?
You just know your worth, man.
Bro, I need like at least 6 figures, fam. What are you talking about?
Man says 6 figures.
Bro, what the hell, fam? The children don't grow on trees, fam. Come on, fam. Come on.
Wait. Also, was it his boss? Yeah.
Yeah, his boss, fam.
Bro, so he just secured a promotion.
Maybe
he secured a promotion and he secured leverage. Bro, he's gonna be CEO of the company.
Leverage for sure, leverage, because that's a sexual harassment case in the works.
Oh my god, I can't believe this.
Also, the really important question we didn't even ask is like, what crypto?
Let me see
if she's paying man in Doge, it's a walkout. If she's paying
it just said crypto. We don't know the specifics.
Exactly. Imagine, you know, like you heard those Bitcoin pizza stories where it's like, oh yeah, they paid 14 BTC for a pizza. This could be like that. Like she could have paid him like 8 BTC when BTC was $1,000. Bro. You can go and buy back your child.
Fam, I fully hear that, Rick. Yeah. All I ask for is my manager to hook him up with 1 BTC. I'm not asking for much, fam. Just 1 BTC, fam. I don't care if it's at 20K or 35K or 100K. Just 1 BTC, fam. You know what I mean? Nice, man. And then we can talk further. But, bro, 8K USD? Nah. Miss me with that, bro. Miss me with that. That is wild. Harris, what do you think?
I ain't gonna do it, but what I'll say is, yeah, if there's so many things, because yeah, she's the manager. It's a bit techie. Like he didn't say whether he did it or not, but
bro, he did it. He did it because he said, "Oh, my manager just gave birth, and her husband has no idea." He did it, bro.
Oh yeah. He did.
He did it.
Yeah, he's a scumbag still. But but yeah, it's a techie situation. Yeah, it's mad because obviously down the line, I'm just wondering, like, these things always come out. It's rare that they just go under the rug.
Yeah.
Somehow, you know, my guy might do 23andMe when he's down the line. It's like, why can't I give my dad blood because he needs it because he's got like diabetes or something or whatever, or kidney failure or whatever disease? And it's like, oh, yeah, it's not possible because, you know, you're supposed to have the same blood type and whatever. And then it's like, okay. Mum, why isn't my blood compatible? Well, you see, the thing about that is, your dad isn't your dad. Oh, speaking, it's a mad thing. It's a mazza. So, yeah, not for me, but I can see the thought process behind what he did.
So many things to break down.
He must be desperate, fam. That's what I'm thinking. I'm like, you know, good opportunity.
He must be working minimum wage or something. Because
it has to be. He has to be. Obviously, there's nothing wrong with working a minimum wage. Like,
I'm not saying this. No,
we all have to start from somewhere, minimum wage as well. But at the same time,
you know,
that is wild. That is wild. And the fact that he agreed and then didn't seem like he even negotiated anything. He just
he needed that money, man. It was
of course. That's what I'm thinking.
That's what I'm saying. Desperation makes you act out our character, man.
Yeah. Well said, my man. Well said.
For sure. So, the next and final confession is: I discovered crypto and learned about the opportunities in farming airdrops, and decided to dedicate myself in farming airdrops in M2s, and bought ETH with all my savings. Today, I just got scammed, and my wallet drained. I guess that's supposed to say all of my ETH.
Yeah.
which was 6.3. I'm still in disbelief. I worked for 4 years in a minimum wage job to save that money and got it stolen in less than a second. Damn. That's unfortunate. That's
Extremely unfortunate. Rick, you wanna
Yeah.
go?
Yeah, unfortunately, you know, the way of crypto is it's really easy for you to lose or get scammed. There's so many scams out there. He probably, I mean, I hope he didn't do one of them scams where it's like, you know, Elon Musk says, send me 6.3 ETH and, you know, I send you back 58.9.
That's
I hope it's
Well,
not.
he said he was farming airdrop, so I think he was probably interacting with different protocols, and maybe it was like a scam airdrop or something. Maybe that sounds like it might be.
No. But he said, yeah, they had a dedicated airdrops to M2s and bought ETH with all his savings. So all of his savings gave him 6.3 ETH, and I'm like, yeah, it's a shame, man. Ultimately, yeah, these things happen, and I don't know. I feel like the only way to move from here is to just try to rebuild your portfolio. Call it L, call it a lesson learned. You will never do that again, that's for sure.
Exactly. You know what I think happened? I think from the information we have, he most likely interacted with some protocol or something like that, and it was a scam. And he had all of his ETH in his main wallet, which was probably MetaMask or whatever, without having like a backup or, you know, keeping it in cold storage or whatnot. And that just goes to show that, you know, you can't keep all of your assets A in one place and B, you know, not in cold storage, especially what you're not willing to lose.
Yeah, what's that saying? Don't put all your eggs in one basket. That's what this man did, fam. If you're interacting with a brand new protocol that you're not sure about, you can't literally be like, if you have a hot wallet, like the hot wallet that has all your, even if it's a cold wallet that has all your main crypto, you don't take that risk, fam. Like, if all you have, you've been saving for 4 years, and that's all you have is 6.3 each, and then you just blindly just connected to that protocol and thinking you can farm 100% yield. Like, and also one thing I'm seeing, guys, is there's a lot of like minimum wage workers in crypto. I think like that's becoming, I don't think it's a trend, but that's more and more these guys are coming on confessions and just kind of just blurting out things that happened to them. And it's very interesting because if you've worked a minimum wage job, you saved hard, you should not be taking risks like this. Like, you should not be doing that. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing wrong with playing with a little 0.3 ETH, see what happens with that. If it's good, if it's legit, maybe play with a bit more. But yeah, man, it all comes down to risk management and just knowing what you're doing. Like, you know what I mean? Just know what you're doing out there. That's the most important thing. That don't take unnecessary risks, especially when you work hard for your money. Like, don't take unnecessary risks. That's the most important thing.
Couldn't agree more. Anything to add, Rick?
Yeah, I completely missed that part. Realistically, my man was trading with his entire portfolio, like his entire ETH capital. He was doing these mad things.
Let me just interject real quick. So his ETH now would be valued at $29,000. Oh, sorry, no, not dollars. I was in a different currency. It would be worth almost $2,000.
$2,000.
No.
He's got 6.3 ETH, so
11.6K USD.
Yeah, which is nothing to sniff at, especially.
Exactly. That's what I mean. That I see MANDEM, you know what I mean, do a lot crazy stuff for less than that, like what we just reacted to just now. So yeah, let's never go for that again. That's mad. Yeah, Rick, continue.
Yeah, man. Risk management. This don shouldn't be trading with his entire portfolio, and if he is, it's peak. I wouldn't want to be in this situation, but yeah, never invest more money than you can afford to lose. And my man obviously could afford to lose his life savings, and he did in this case.
Rick, I disagree though. I don't think anyone's willing to like lose their entire life savings, fam, especially when you don't have like a blue chip job, fam. Like, you just, I felt bad for my man, fam. I felt bad for him because he's gonna have to start from scratch again, back to McDonald's again, fam. It's mad.
Man said McDonald's. Why you say McDonald's?
Minimum wage. That's the first that came to my mind, fam. Sorry.
McDonald's don't pay minimum wage.
They do, man. They do, man.
If they do, it's not much more than it can't be.
Yeah, I hear that.
It can't be, but yeah, he has to get back onto that horse and start again, man.
It's all a learning process.
Yeah,
Exactly. So don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the podcast. This is episode 6, and we also have an update from Ricardo. So, Ricardo, you recently bought some Solana, and everyone wants to know why. And just give us an update as to why you did it, where it is now, and what the stats is.
All right, basically. So I was looking through the market. First of all, I think the whole crypto market's moved from, in my humble opinion, not financial advice, don't take this as a financial advice. I think the crypto market has moved from what is like a downtrend / just sideways movement to upward trends. I feel like we've moved into an economic season which looks a lot more like summer, i.e., a lot more people are just saying, buy Bitcoin, I'm just going to jump in on this. Like more recently, I've heard more people start talking about crypto again.
Wait, you talking about retail or you talking about institution?
Okay. Retail. Yeah, more people have come on and said, there's a bit more chat around crypto. So I was like, cool. So I'm looking through the market and I'm looking at different coins. I'm looking at Solana. Obviously, Solana is one of the coins that fell heavily from its high. Let me just pull up the graph. But yeah, it fell heavily from its high. And when I was looking through, obviously, like it's not like the usefulness of the coin has depleted. Like it's still a good project. Obviously, they've had a lot of teething issues. There's been many bugs. There was quite a strong Solana presence at that Zebu Live event I went a couple of weeks ago.
And they've got a good community for sure.
They have massive community. Bro. There's a lot of minimum wage workers holding Solana still.
Man said minimum wage.
They're gonna come for you.
So yeah, I feel like and what? So at its peak, it was like $250, 260. So it's like 90% down roughly. And I was like, yeah, why not? I'll give this a go. And bought in that was like $25 or something like that. And I'm like 26% up, 26. I got to double check maybe when I'm not on live stream so everyone can't see my portfolio, but probably 25, 30.
I think you're probably
up. I ain't sold yet, so this means nothing.
I think Rick, I think you're up 30% because you said it a week ago you're gonna purchase, and I'm looking at the stats now. 7-week gain is 34.26% exact. So
yeah,
you're up 30%.
Maybe it's 30% now.
Yeah. That's a great trade, by the way. Great trade, big punt. It worked out, and obviously, to be honest, it's not the only thing that's moving right now. Pretty much, the market is. I mean, look at the portfolio. The portfolio looks like it's got some life again. I'm like, even again. Okay, good stuff. But it's interesting. It's interesting. So
ultimately, the market's in such a place right now. No matter what you buy, or like as of last week, no matter what you bought, you'd be up.
Yeah.
So
Except
if you bought NFTs. I mean, I'm staying clear of NFTs for a little while. But yeah.
Let me check my Coinbase wallet. I bought some coins as well. I DC'd into some BTC. I bought some quants because we spoke about that a long time ago, and I bought some ETH as well. So obviously I'm up on them. I'm obviously not gonna sell because long-term strategy and that. But what I want to ask you is, this trade, is it a short-term investment or long-term investment?
It's a short-term investment. Because I bought that. I bought some liquidity. I was meant to buy some XEN, but I haven't done that yet. It's on my list. But yeah, it's a short-term trade. I'll probably exit. But to be honest, I can exit right now with my 30% up. Pretty happy with that.
Do you know why I fully agree with you that it has to be a short-term investment? Because yes, you said obviously feel free to jump in now, Harris. Rick, you mentioned obviously people start to talk about crypto, the retail stuff, and I think that is probably a consequence of the ETF being approved. You know what I mean? First it was guaranteed approved, like everybody was just somersaulting like yes, and then obviously we had to pump our bread because it was fake news, and then momentum started building up on it again because SEC. It looks like all things point to this ETF being approved, which is great news. I think it's great news for institutional money coming in and flooding to the market, which is freaking fantastic. But I still feel like there's still more choppiness to come. Maybe not this month, because obviously next month, November might be a good month where like we're probably up plus 10%. But December is usually a 50-50. It could go really north or it could go south in December. And then obviously January is always a great time for crypto. People obviously, you know what I mean, new goals, new year, let's go all in.
Christmas
Let's
money,
make it.
all of that.
Let's make $1 million this year. You know what I'm saying? So
Okay.
I do think obviously if you can get your profit here and there, do it. But in terms of going all in, like let's say you have $500,000, you want to just kind of slap down some trades. You know what I mean? You probably want to just wisely just kind of enter the market slowly, because the choppiness is just still not done. Because on that day where like BTC did like 15% pump, 14% pump, the 24-hour volume was 100 billion plus, was going around like 115, 120, which is like we haven't. These are bull market volumes. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, and volume is a very strong indicator on crypto, that to see what's going on, where the money is moving to. So, and now fast forward 3 days later, that volume is now slashed in half. It's still good, 52 billion, not bad, but it could be better. So I'm interested to see what happens in November. You know what I mean? And obviously December, I think that will be a telltale for what is going to happen for the next year bull market run.
Yeah, for sure. And to expand on that, we recently did a checked Google Trends, and for BTC ETF, that keyword on Google Trends, it's currently at an all-time high. And this was at the time when it was sort of speculation. So now obviously it must be even higher. It was at 100% anyway, so you can't get higher than that. But just in terms of the amount of searches, I'm sure it's even higher now. So more people are obviously really looking towards the BT ETF as maybe a catalyst event or something that can really push the market forward and get people excited. And obviously it's going to open up a lot of more avenues for institutions, pension funds, and all those types of things to have a vehicle to invest in spot BTC. But at the same time, Google Trends also says that the search term for crypto is at a 7-year low. So is it just people that are already in crypto that are kind of looking at a way for their bags to, you know, get elevated? Or is like the public consciousness of, you know, people who aren't necessarily full-time in crypto or, you know, that interested in crypto as a whole starting to come in? So, you know, people who aren't really early adopters. What do you guys think?
I mean, all right. So normally in any, right, based on the fact that we're in a pretty mad market, like a slow market for like the last year, roughly, with crypto, and not just in crypto, like all of them, all of the regular instruments. But normally when there's conflict in the world, like money always flows into crypto. Also, like the fact that there is, yeah, so there's all that stuff going on, like with wars around the world, a lot of media presence around that. Yep. A lot of people are scared. A lot of people are not trusting the government in that country. Money's probably moving out of that country into other assets. Bitcoin is probably one of those other assets. And for me, yeah, that's like an indicator that, or a good signal to say, there's probably going to be a lot more volume going into crypto. But in terms of your everyday Joe, then nah, I don't really see your everyday Joe like flying the crypto flag as hard, or your people that have never been exposed to crypto. I don't think we're at that point right now. Not like it was in like the last, you know, bull market where things were crazy and everyone and their dog were talking about Bitcoin. This feels a little less. We're not on that level yet.
Yeah, I think you're definitely right. I don't think we're on that level yet. And to be honest, these Bitcoin maxis and maximalists, they're already in crypto. Like they never left. I mean, what they're doing is literally, or I see these whale wallets too. Sometimes I actually watch some of these whale wallets. They do a lot of conversions where, like, if you're holding thousands of ETHs or just ETHs, and then right now we see the Bitcoin dominance going through the roof. What they do is essentially to ride that pump, they'll convert their ETH because ETH dominance is going down. You know what I mean, if you check it now, it's currently let's check that quickly. ETH dominance is 17.4, Bitcoin dominance is 53%. So, you know what I mean? That little, I'm sure those whales caught that 15% pump because they know how to kind of follow the market, and then they follow the money really well. So they're already in the market, so they're just waiting for the right time to just buy a lot more. And then, so right now it's just all about just playing and riding the right coins, and that's what I think these Bitcoin maxes are doing, because they never left. They're still in it because they have shit ton of crypto. They don't need to sell anything.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting that you talk about Bitcoin maxis, because essentially Bitcoin maxis have been waiting for two major catalyst events to, see mass adoption. At least that's the narrative that everyone's been discussing. One of those is an ETF, and we've heard about that as early as 2013, 14. It was like the Winklevoss twins kind of put it out there first, and they got rejected. And there was a lot of FOMO at the time. The price was creeping up, and then when it got rejected, it came crashing down. So the ETF has been on the cards for 10 years plus. And then the second is economic and geopolitical uncertainty. So we have that in waves. We've got that in just in terms of like the recession, global recession, and slowdown in economic activity thanks to the pandemic and other factors. But we also have multiple wars happening. Obviously, we've got Russia and Ukraine. We've now got Israel and Palestine, and who knows what else is on the horizon. So now, with all this uncertainty, you would think this would be like the perfect moment for things to really get kickstarted and push Bitcoin to the next level. But it hasn't happened yet. And I'm wondering what you guys think is the reason for that. Is it just a matter of time, or is there's something more fundamental happening?
I'll go. I think it's only a matter of time, because if you look at it, like the ETF thing happening is almost surely going to happen. It's pretty much like I will be shocked if we now do a complete 360 and then the ETFs now start getting rejected. I think it's going to happen, and obviously BlackRock being one of the ones spearheading that will bring even a more shit ton of money coming in. So I think it's only a matter of time before BTC reacts. I still feel like there is still some choppiness ahead of us. And I feel like whenever you feel like it's the right time to kind of ride Bitcoin, don't overthink it. Just buy it, fam. Like just buy it. Don't, when you overthink trades, that's when you usually kind of go sideways. If you think now is the time to buy it, buy it. But I feel it's only a matter of time, because I can't predict what's going to happen in the future, what's going to happen in the future for BTC. But one thing I can say is that next pump is going to be a mad thing, and you don't want to be on the side watching it go and trying to wait for it to further drop. So best thing to do is just, just ride it when you can, and it's not too late to buy it. Now is probably one of the better time to start investing if you haven't already started. Rick?
Yeah, Rick, what do you think?
Go for it.
Yeah, what I was just gonna say is that then you mentioned like choppiness, and just to that point, in like late 2019, Bitcoin's price retraced about 38%, around 6 months before the 2020 halving. Now, obviously, the next halving is coming up soon, next year. So, could we see something similar before the next halving?
Absolutely. Yeah. Because people are gonna FOMO into the market thinking, oh, Bitcoin happens, it's gonna pump. And where everybody's all like, yes, it's great. When the whole world feels like something's gonna happen, the opposite happens. You know what I mean? Not trying to be a contrarian or anything. It's just a given. In every halving event, the Bitcoin price is always retraced, not 50%, but close to it. So that's why I'm expecting that. I'm expecting a bit more choppiness, but not significant choppiness. That makes sense. But that's still quite significant in there. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean the last one's almost 40%, so I would say that's pretty significant, even for Bitcoin.
It is indeed. And just to give our viewers some context, the next halving date is in 183 days, which puts the date on 26 April 2024. We're 6 months away. So when are you gonna buy? Like, you know what I mean? Like, when are you gonna start buying? You're gonna buy in March? It'll be too late.
I hear what you're saying, but like, I guess to the original question, Why is the market not doing as well as it should be at this point? I think we're going through a process. I think the fact that we've seen this 15% increase in Bitcoin, and I don't know what the overall percentage increase is in the entire market, but ultimately, like, money is starting to pour in, and yeah, I guess it's not going to be parabolic until everyone and his dog starts aping in, and I don't think that will happen until potentially, like, yeah, there's some major event that happens. I don't feel like the events, obviously the events have been big, don't get me wrong, but I don't think they've been as big in the countries that move the price of Bitcoin the most. And
So
so
you're
when we
saying
start in, for instance, like, obviously the whole issues that are going on with Ukraine and Russia, which has been going on for a while, and Israel and Palestine, like, if you were to look at the amount of, like, investment coming from those countries into crypto, it's probably not as high as, countries with, like, much larger populations, or just a higher GDP, like the UK, most of Europe, the US, Russia, China.
those countries have quite large effects on other countries. Like, for example, Russia controls a huge amount of gas.
I heard that.
Israel
Yeah,
gets
knock-on effects.
aid. They might even, I think they start to send a few troops from the US there, only 2,000 at the moment, but they may send more. So it's like, although those countries might not have a direct influence, they could by proxy because of how important they are to the global infrastructure.
Yeah, I hear you. I don't know. I just feel like it's not big enough news. Also, ultimately, like, these things, this thing will just shoot off if Elon Musk was to jump on a tweet tomorrow and say, "Oh, yo, we just bought Bitcoin." I think, yeah, there's too much logic. Maybe I'm putting too much logic behind it, but yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
But Rick,
It
like you
doesn't
just
feel like,
said, Rick, but
yeah,
like you just said, we don't have to put much logic on this because any little event could just trigger the next boom. Because we have
100%.
ETF on the rise, and we have the geopolitical instability happening currently. We have we have a deflationary USD GBP as well. So if Elon Musk jump and say, I'm investing 100 billion to Bitcoin, what do you think will happen? You know what I mean? And then he doesn't announce saying, I'm gonna do this. He's just gonna do it. Come January, I bought this, and everyone's like, what? FOMO. So it's like you can't put too much logic into this kind of thing. As long as like we seen Bitcoin price at 16K, we seen it at 14 point something, we seen it at 20K, seen it at 26K, seen it at 35K. You don't want to see at 70K, man. You don't want to see at 70K and you haven't bought enough. That's the point I'm trying to make.
Yeah, I mean, you made a good point earlier saying it's not too late to buy Bitcoin, and I don't think it is. It can feel like that, especially when you miss a pump. And
Yeah, like you just people that misses 50% of the people, oh no, I dropped the ball. Not really. It's not too late. You can buy it. Well, as you were saying, Harris.
Yeah, exactly. You just need to sort of broaden your horizon in terms of how you're thinking about things. So yeah, okay, you might have missed like a week's worth of gains or whatever, but in a few years, what's 15%? It's nothing. In a few decades, what's 15%? Nothing. So you just have to like elongate your time horizon, and your perspective will definitely change. You need to think in sort of in terms of years rather than in terms of like weeks or days. And I think you become a much more savvy investor for sure.
That's what's up.
Yeah. So there was also something interesting that happened recently this week. So MetaMask, which obviously is a popular wallet used mainly for ETH, was removed from the App Store, but has since been added back. But at the time it was removed, it caused a lot of commotion because it's the number one app, especially used in DeFi and NFTs. But Apple decided to remove it for some reason, and it came back almost, I think, half an hour or an hour later. But it does raise some questions, like, does crypto need its own hardware? So maybe the Solana phone might be, something that needs to happen, or maybe something produced by someone else, or maybe an existing player that's just crypto friendly. But looking at the history of the App Store and Apple, and not just them but other institutions, sometimes they're friendly and sometimes they're not. They started off sort of not taking a stance. People were getting scammed, so they banned everything, and then they slowly, gradually started to increase that leniency to say, okay, we'll allow it, advertising and stuff like that, but you have to disclose certain things so we can just verify your actual company and whatnot. But these things are always on a knife edge and can flip at any time. So what do you guys think about MetaMask being removed? And what does that mean for crypto?
Rick, you want to take this or should I go first?
I can go. Centralized company doing centralized things, isn't it?
Pure
I
power.
love that.
Pure power play.
Bro, centralized company doing centralized things, but the thing is, like, Apple has a monopoly on the App Store, or it has a monopoly on app distribution across the world, like software on phones and apps that go on software on phones. Ultimately, like, it's literally split in half between. And I know there's like some smaller companies that release apps and there's a Windows phone and whatever, and some of them run their own OS, but it's literally split between Google Play and the Apple Play Store or the App Store. Like, they have a monopoly on what's on your phone. And I don't know what MetaMask did to get back on so quick, but for me, that sounds like...
Bro, they pay the funds. They pay the funds, bro. They pay the funds Apple wanted. Apple wants a share of everything that you're earning on the revenue. And that's exactly why they're back on App Store, bro. Continue.
I think currently it's like 33% of like your in-app purchase has to go to Apple. And maybe that was it. Maybe they figured out MetaMask was making money using the app. And they're like, yo, we want 33% or 30%. And they just had to pay that bill and it was back on. But half an hour, bro, like, for Apple to do something in an hour time slot, it must have just been a shocking revelation. Like, they must have paid that bill and called Tim directly and be like, yo, bro, I beg you. Like, honestly, it would have been a big deal for them to even do that quickly. But yeah, man, they run a monopoly and they can do whatever they feel like because it's their app store. Like, tomorrow, if they wanted to ban every single app in crypto, which they have before, like, they would just do it and that would be it. And they'll just be out the store.
And nobody could do anything about it.
Huh?
I said nobody could do anything about it either.
Absolutely.
Literally, they would complain for a little while, but then it's like, people are not going to throw their Apple phones in the bin because they can't use MetaMask. And that's my problem with like the Solana phone or any other extra hardware that will come out for crypto in terms of mobile devices. Ultimately, people are already like bought into their Android devices, their iOS devices, some people their Windows devices, nobody BlackBerry devices. And it's just like for them to move to somewhere else just for a single app, because not all your other stuff's not going to be there. Like WhatsApp's not going to be on that phone, potentially. Like Facebook or Instagram aren't going to be on that phone. Like, you're just going to have that phone for the sole purpose of like crypto, which makes you a mad target. Because if you're out and someone sees, oh, that Don got the Solana phone, it's a wrap. Yes, you have an iPhone, and it's like, oh, you have all these other things. Bro, I remember the Solana phone. Yeah, like, I don't know. In my mind, I feel like this guy has at least $1 million worth of crypto. Target.
So yeah, straight target, man. We're kicking down doors, yeah.
100%.
No, it's true.
So Rick, I didn't get your final point. So are you for the Solana phone or like crypto having its own hardware? What's your stance on that then?
I think we're so far from even being there. Like, I think it's bro, we're talking about like a revolutionary change. I don't know. It would just require some real disruption and some real innovation, and I think we're very far from that point. So ultimately, Solana can have their own phone, but when I take out my 35% gain, like, that's it for Solana as a project for me, my man. I feel like they just have a long way to go.
Unfortunately, I agree with Rick. Even if we're gonna have a revolutionary in terms of having a crypto hardware, that's a mobile phone. I don't know why it needs to be a mobile phone. It's weird, but yeah, we just leave that discussion for another day. I don't think Solana's gonna want to execute it. I don't have much faith in the Solana Foundation and how they're kind of gone about doing certain things. how they sold majority of their coins to VCs, and VC can really destabilize the price of Solana whenever they want. But obviously, in their own best interest, they're not going to do that because what's the gain? There's no gain right now because Solana still hasn't pumped to the level that they wanted to pump to. But just to kind of answer the original question, like at the end of the day, like what Rick said, like Apple removing MetaMask, that's a pure power play. You know what I mean? That was them not complying with what Apple's conditions are, and then they're like, "Well, you think we're not serious? We'll yank you," and then they yanked them, and they had to go pay their bills. And obviously, they're now back on, which is very, very interesting. But moving forward, how does this impact things, especially in the bull run? I feel like in the bull run, you have no issue paying your bills because obviously money just trickling in from fees or that kind of stuff. But in a bear market, you can have that one missed invoice, like, oh yeah, we forgot to pay that one, innit? Well, yeah, it's cool. But at the end of the day, this is still a big issue because like Apple has a huge monopoly on software apps on the phone. Like they control everything, and majority of people, this might feel like an hyperbole, but I know more iPhone users, iOS users than I know Android users. I mean, I'm nothing against Android. I think Android is completely fine. You know what I mean? And from the looks of Solana Mobile, it looks like they're going to build on the Android environment as well. So I'm just not sure about where this is all going. If Solana Mobile is going to be executed or if we need a hardware that's a mobile phone just for crypto. I don't see the need to just create a hardware or mobile phone hardware just for crypto. Like it just seems like a bit of an overkill. But then again, I see the motivation behind it because if one company, Apple, is gonna keep squeezing people and then just making their own rules as they go along and saying, yeah, we want this, we want that, 50% of your revenue, we want 33% of the revenue, then I think more and more innovators will now take this idea seriously and probably just innovate something. Then you never know, it might just catch fire and just be run with it. So it's gonna be interesting over the next 5-10 years if this is actually picking up steam. But right now, Solana Mobile is a no-go for me, man, because I don't even trust the blockchain to hold up, right, and just say they're gonna do a Solana Mobile. So yeah, it's a no for me as well.
Yeah, I hear what you guys are saying, but let me take you back for a second because I don't know if you guys were aware of this project, but in the 2019 bull run, there was a project called Virtu. And Virtu also had a phone, so it came out before the Solana phone. Now, they had a flagship store in London, in central London. And we know that land ain't cheap, so they must have been paying, a lot of money.
Premium.
On the back roads of central London. But nonetheless, I went to the store during the opening week. I checked out the phone. The phone wasn't impressive. I'm not going to lie to you. I can't even remember if it was a smartphone or not, but the phone wasn't impressive. No, it wasn't a flip phone. But at the time, it kind of looked like it was some brick with thing. And I was like, I was asking the person about the specs and, camera and all this. And they were like, this phone is the reason why we have this phone is because of the wallet and blah, blah, blah. So I was like, and at that time, I don't think there was a lot of wallet apps. But I was like, so the only reason why I'd pay, and it was expensive as well. So let's just say over $1,000 or whatever for this example.
That's a joke.
Wow.
I don't know if it was that expensive, but it was. I remember it being expensive. But in my mind, I was speaking to the guy and I was like, so wait, you're telling me the only reason that is X amount of dollars is so I can use the wallet. It's like, yeah, but enhanced security and blah, blah, blah. And I was thinking to myself and I was like, and I think they had done an ICO. So I was thinking to myself and I was like, how are you going to get people to buy this beyond, just the ICO investors who are obviously bought in now? Because it's not making sense. Like there has to be something else to take people away from their ecosystems. And I think it's going to be hard. Like Rick said it, people already bought into, their phones and whatnot. And it's not just about the phone, it's about the network effects. It's about iMessage, it's about familiarity, it's about the UX. It's also, Apple is $1 trillion company. They got money like falling out of their back.
Press you whenever they want, man. They could just buy you out, man.
I remember, in fact, I was listening to another podcast the other day. Well, it was a clip, and they were talking about. Remember when Samsungs were blowing up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The note and that on the plane.
Yeah, exactly. So there was before you get on planes, you have to turn off your Samsung or whatever in fear that obviously it might blow up on the plane, which is never good. And I didn't know this, but they were saying, oh yeah, Apple were running ads saying, this is a phone that's not going to blow up, basically. If they wanted to, they could run that ad to the end of time and still not have a dent in their marketing budget. So that's the type of, behemoth you're dealing with when it comes to Apple, especially in a category which they know. If it's a category they're not familiar with, like content or something like that, yeah, maybe you have a secret sauce, an edge that you can get over it on them. But this is their core business. They make more money from phones than almost anything else, except maybe Apple Care. I think Apple Care makes a lot of money too. I'm not sure which is first, but it's probably phones.
Phones, bro.
So yeah, 100%. So it's just like, I understand the need for it. I would love it to be the case because I'm completely anti-censorship, and pro crypto. So I'm not against it. I'm just looking at the viability of it, and it's probably a mountain too high to climb. I think something better would probably be maybe some type of wearable. So I remember back in the day, obviously, there was a company called Pebble that had the watch, and I know Apple is now taking over that market with the Apple Watch, but I'm just trying to make an example. So it would have to be something else, a different form factor for it to make sense. But the phone, I don't think it's going to work.
It's not going to work. It's not going to work. The overhead of creating phones alone will kill them. It will eat into your margin. And then and after manufacturing, you gotta figure you gotta get agreed to like a license for either Android. iOS is not gonna work with you, that's for sure. So yeah, you got to go to Android, and Android might finesse you, and then after that, it might be hella buggy, and then you go higher like.
Or they could create their own OS.
Yeah, you have to.
But then they have to attract developers and all this other stuff.
Yeah. It's an idea, but at the same time, in terms of feasibility, it's a tall climb, man. Like Rick said, people are too bought into the phones. I like using FaceTime. I like using iMessages. I mean, I like WhatsApp too, but I'm bought into my iOS ecosystem. You know what I'm saying? So why should I go port myself to Solana phone? Like Solana to give me a reason why. If Solana was top 5 crypto, top 3 crypto, let's say it was Bitcoin, ETH, and Solana, maybe I'll be like, cool, since I have a ton of Solana, I guess I need to hold it safe on my Solana mobile, but bro.
I think maybe if there was additional functionality, like you can mine from your phone or something, there needs to be something tangible that you can say, boom, this thing is either making me money or it's so valuable to me that I'm willing to buy it, even as the second phone. Iris, if it's just a wallet, it's dead.
Iris, you need to chill with giving out the idea to the public, bro. We need to have a separate meeting about ideas, bro. Can't be giving out all ideas to the world.
Cool. No worries. But you get what I was saying.
Yeah, I get what you mean, man, for sure.
Yeah. And the next thing that is very interesting is narratives. So obviously we've had a lot of narratives and we've talked about some of them in previous episodes. But one of the narratives that we haven't discussed that has kind of cropped up in the past, that hasn't really taken off in terms of market cap and in terms of dominating the crypto space at large, is privacy. So is there space for a privacy narrative to take off? Obviously there are privacy coins, but I mean, is there a place for, privacy to do your 100x's, your 1000x's? The same way that you had the metaverse and other cryptos. Is that still feasible? Or especially think about it, we have a lot more regulation coming up. Some people are going to want a bit more privacy around their transactions. Is it something that's feasible, or is it just a bit of a pipe dream? Especially what happens when they get Tornado Cash as well.
Yeah. So Rick, you want to jump on this, or should I go first?
Go first,
bro. So I just feel like if you privacy used to be a huge thing back obviously 3, 4, 5 bull runs ago, where we had I legit thought, obviously at that time the metaverse coins were still a dream. There were still white papers. They were at inception stage. Literally the one there was actually no blockchain catering for that. There was no meta company doing anything metaverse related. So privacy had the edge then. But over the past 10 years, I feel like obviously one of the barriers of crypto is people feel like, oh, you know, the narrative around crypto is that, crypto is not safe. It's used by mostly by drug dealers, scammers, people that are doing terrorist related things. So that narrative has taken such a grip that I feel like privacy concerns are being heavily suppressed. Not only in the market, I feel like if you had, I don't know, some sort of like privacy, I don't know, like a ecosystem, and then you're trying to launch an app, I'm sure Apple will step in and just block you guys because they feel like, oh, like we need to understand what's going on. You know what I mean? And like I just feel like for privacy coin to do well, to do what some of these new coins are doing, like these layer 2s and layer 1s, it has to offer like a tremendous like value as well, other than just privacy, like just the ability to kind of censor your transaction. He has to offer a lot more than just censoring your transaction. So, like off the top of my head,
do you think people don't? Do you think people don't care about it, or
no? People care about it. That people still use them. I know. Okay, I don't know people that use Monero, but I've known people in the past that use Monero for transactions. You know what I mean? People go on Silk Road and then they literally their choice on crypto. It's not Bitcoin. They probably use like these privacy coins. But I just feel like the likes of Monero, like I don't know if they're still innovating, but they're still top 50. You know what I mean? They're still doing their thing. But off the top of my head, I can't even name any other top like privacy coin other than Monero. What else, guys? Do you guys know off the top of your head? Verge, bro. Verge is pretty much dead. Like, I mean, Verge.
I remember Verge from back in the day,
bro. Verge is not even ranked, bro. It's not even ranked no more. It's now it's in Satoshi's, like 0.00403. Like I remember Verge was interesting back in the day, but now it's just like, oh yeah, Verge.
Yeah, on CoinGecko it's 344.
Yeah, like it's ridiculous. So I just don't know. I feel like like that idea has been heavily suppressed, and I just don't see anyone successfully innovating it and making a successful crypto project. So people care about it. They probably use the old classic ones like Monero, like I just mentioned. But other than that, I just don't see something new coming up and then just taking the market by storm, like especially a privacy coin. I just don't see it. What do you guys think?
I think no. I think people don't care about privacy enough. And I feel like the people that do care about privacy, they don't realize how transparent any interaction is. Like, all right, let's pre someone trying to be private with their crypto. Yeah, you go to some centralized exchange, you buy Bitcoin, potentially, most likely Bitcoin or ETH. You move Bitcoin or ETH to like another exchange, which KYC'd you, both they KYC'd you. You buy some Monero, and then you're like, cool. And then you send Monero off the Silk Road to go and buy yourself an AK-47. Like that wallet is known as a Silk Road wallet.
Yeah.
The wallet that you sent it from on that exchange that you bought Monero is known to you, is linked to you because you KYC'd on that platform. They have your address, they have your name, they have your bank details. So all of this, and it's like, what are you actually doing with this privacy coin? I've seen some people try to do some cool shit where they onboard in Coinbase or Binance or wherever, like, I don't know, they go down the road and buy local Bitcoin. Like, the local Bitcoin, actually buying Bitcoin from someone else is probably
OTC.
Huh?
OTC.
But even when it's OTC, they have to have your details, right? Because you have to, like, if you're in the UK, they have to know that
you're in the UK.
Yeah.
Let's just say I've met some guys in Indonesia where it's a bit different. But
Say
carry on.
So you take this privacy coin. Yeah, I've seen some people do some crazy shit where they buy something on an exchange and then they do like they make like 10 wallets and they transfer it between the wallets and they're like, yeah, the trace is gone now, bro. Elliptic, who does blockchain analysis,
yep,
bro, they go 50 hops back, and that was back in 2018 when we were working with them. Now it's probably like 150 hops back. Like, who's gonna be here? And you know, gas is expensive. Who's gonna be here paying $5 per transaction 150 times, like, to move, enough piece to buy a whatever? And yeah, and even like looking at something like Monero, I don't know how they do their mixing and their anonymization, but like ultimately, like your Monero wallet is gonna still be linked to one of the exchanges. So,
but it doesn't have to be. If you wanted to be smart about it, what you could do, and I'm not saying this is a foolproof way, and I'm not saying I've done this because I haven't. But what I'm saying is that you could say create a Monero wallet or whatever privacy wallet, and obviously that's anonymized, or pseudo-anonymized.
Yeah.
Then you would have to buy P2P, so directly from somebody.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's where it gets a bit techie because you don't know what they've interacted with. So yeah, but you get it from them, and then from there, it's less of a chain. There's no KYC involved, but if they're getting it from exchanges or interacting with exchanges and other people, or not even necessarily exchanges, they could be in some dodgy forums buying stuff and have surveillance on them, and yeah, it all gets a bit techie. But I suppose off the top of my head, that would probably be the easiest way, except for obviously mixes and stuff like that, which obviously are hard to come by now.
I hear what you're saying, but then the question is, you don't actually need a privacy coin for that. You can do that with any crypto. You can go P2P with any crypto, and it's pseudo anonymous, and then do your thing and get it delivered to you wherever you are. So then, like, what's the real need for a privacy coin?
Well, yeah, actually, it's kind of true, but kind of not true, because yes, you can do that, but I can't remember Monero specifically, and obviously we're mentioning Monero because Monero is one of the biggest privacy coins, but
the biggest.
Yeah. So when it comes to them, like some privacy coins, I remember, like you can choose whether it's completely private or whatever. A bit like encryption, like an encrypted message on like WhatsApp
like
or
VPN, yeah.
Kind of, but VPN doesn't. Well, yeah, but let's just use a messaging app as a analogy. So obviously you can send a normal message, which is what you're saying is the equivalent. But obviously if you send a VPN, or if you use an encrypted message, that would be the same. So if I was to send money to you, Rick, and I was using Monero, and it was a private transaction, you, I guess, wouldn't be able to see it properly, or I'm not sure on that, the technology side of things, but that's what I think, unless you guys have more clarity around that.
So I think to summarize, I think we all agree here that there's no real need for privacy coin. I think it's just people don't care enough about it. Just to summarize, but I will be shocked if there's a huge privacy coin, because right now Monero is the biggest at $3 billion market cap. I will be shocked if something else come out of the way and just surpasses that. I think I will be shocked, because people just don't care enough about privacy because they feel like they're private enough.
The next biggest one is Zcash, which is currently ranked 28 with a market cap of like nearly $500 million, 461 million.
Yep.
Yeah, I think people do. Oh, actually, let me take that back. I think there is a need, but I also think that people don't care enough about it. The everyday person doesn't care enough about it. You have obviously certain types of people that will care a lot about it, but most people, the general public, doesn't care enough about it. And unless something crazy starts happening, where I don't know, governments are like confiscating crypto at ridiculous rates, or there needs to be some sort of catalyst that makes it click for people to say, oh wow, you know what, crypto's great, but it needs an extra layer of protection. It needs to be, even more private. So yeah, I think that's the only way that it'll sort of go to the next level in terms of privacy and privacy coins in particular.
Agreed.
So I want to ask you, man, a question. Which coin do you think is or has the most developers developing on it? And you're not allowed to Google it.
Cardano.
Did you say Solana?
No, Cardano.
Cardano. Oh yeah, because I mean Charles is the man. Charles is the man. He's, you know what? Yeah, Charles is the only man that actually, if you go on his white paper, and check the roadmap, he has stuck to the roadmap and done step by step. He hasn't done all of it, but literally he's on track to complete everything, which is why I'm not surprised Solana's doing really well. But if If Rick chooses Solana, I'll choose
No, bro. I said Cardano, ADA.
Cardano. Yeah, Cardano. Yeah, Cardano.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
ADA, right?
Maybe
Yeah.
maybe it's ETH now, but I'm gonna stick with Cardano.
Nah, okay, cool. If you choose Cardano, I'll choose ETH. That's my guess. Because
Okay.
I mean the Solidity developers, they dominate the space. So that will be my quick guess. Without
Okay.
Googling. What is it?
The answer is full-time developers.
Yeah.
And also total developers is Ethereum. So I've sent you both a link to a website called Developer Report, and it shows you the amount of monthly active developers on each blockchain effectively.
Yo, this is
And it
live.
shows you the full-time developers and also total developers. And why this is interesting for everyone listening at home is because there's a saying that I have, which is follow the devs, follow the money. So if there's a project where the developers are building, then obviously there's more of an ecosystem and there's more projects and there's a higher likelihood that it's going to be obviously more useful. But it's not just about the number of developers, it shows you the trends. So it tells you whether developers are leaving, developers are growing. So now you can start to see how fast projects are building on a certain platform. And I think this is a really, really good resource for anyone that wants to know where the trending blockchains are and which ones are stagnating, which ones are moving forward, and just which ones in general are going to do well in the future. Is there anything on here that you're looking at and that surprises you?
Well, for me, what surprises me on this top ecosystem that's actually like the top ecosystem monthly active developers, what surprises me is Polkadot. Because of the price of the patch, and I think Iris, you've banged on this quite a few times. You're a bit wary and skeptical of the parachain adoption, the whole Polkadot adoption, because I think that's probably one of the barriers of obviously using the blockchain. I think that not everybody can afford those parachains, and for them to have the second active total developers, and I just don't know how that's possible. But I guess actually I know how that's possible because their blockchain it's compatible with several programming languages, including Rust. Shout out Rust. Rust is a banging programming language. And that makes sense because then you can not only have Rust developers, people that are coming from, I guess, like Solidity can also jump in because they are compatible with most programming languages. So that's probably why there's a lot of developers on Polkadot because they have flexibility in terms of programming languages. But I'm not surprised Cosmos is third in there. Cosmos has been active from I've been bullish on Cosmos, so you guys know. But Polkadot is probably surprising for me being in the top 3.
What's surprising for me though is the fact that Bitcoin is fourth.
Why is that surprising?
It's surprising that Bitcoin's fourth because I don't know. I mean, I guess there's probably a ton of reasons for it. I'm surprised that it's fourth, and I'm also not surprised that it's fourth. I'm not surprised that it's fourth because all of the other ones below it and above it, Solana, Polygon, Kusama, Startnet, never heard of Kusama, Startnet, but BNB, like all those ones have like an active developer community and there's like active tools that are being developed. Obviously, Ethereum, the king of here's some developer tools, here's the language, this is the language that we use, this is what we do, all of that type of stuff. That makes it a lot easier for developers to like onboard and jump into using the platform. Bitcoin doesn't really have that in spades. So I guess I'm surprised it's that high, but at the same time, Bitcoin's king in it. So I'm surprised that it's so low.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the reasons why Bitcoin may be where it is in comparison to some of the other blockchains is that obviously when it comes to Ethereum and even the rest, a lot of them are smart contract blockchains, which means they're programmable, which would mean that there's more developers in the ecosystem, even if they're not working on Ethereum itself. I think they would interact with the Ethereum protocol, unless it's just talking about it says ecosystem. So yeah, I think it would be ERC20 tokens and all that type of stuff would be included, I presume. So if that's the case, then I understand it from that point. I mean, I was speaking to in Bali, where I am at the moment. There was a Bitcoin conference that's happening. I'm not actually going to it, but I met a guy that's going to it, and we were having a discussion early in the morning, and he was saying that obviously Bitcoin, there's certain things that are happening on the Bitcoin blockchain, which means that Bitcoin is going to be more programmable. And I was already aware of this anyway. But my sort of rebuttal was that, yes, it might be able to physically do it, but it doesn't necessarily mean that that's where the devs, want to go to build things. Just because something can be done doesn't mean that it's necessarily A, the best place for it to be done, and B, that it should be done as well. So, yeah, I mean, that was the opinion of a Bitcoin maxi. But yeah, it's interesting that it is fourth, but I can see why that's the case. I think what's more interesting is the amount of developers that are staying or leaving on Bitcoin.
Do you, man? I'm not surprised either. Just kind of further emphasize your point. Do you, man, remember RSK smart contracts?
Yes.
Yeah.
They were trying to bring smart contracts to Bitcoin. Do you know where that project is right now?
Zero.
Where Wait, are you serious?
Yeah. Good guess, Rick. Yeah, it's zero, man. I think they packed up the shop. They closed up shop.
Swear down.
There's no need for certain things like that. You know what I mean? Like Bitcoin is perfect the way it is, perfect store of value. Trying to bring smart contracts, that's already been done. Ethereum has done that. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's just that idea got rejected hard, and those men just raised funds and they left with
it. But the website's still up. Where did you see it was finished?
Bro, RSK is not on CoinMarketCap. It's just like the ticker is off. Like, where is it trading?
I don't know, but it says building on Bitcoin. Apply now for a share of 2.5 million in funding to build your.
Bro, they forgot to remove the website, bro. The token is no more. The token is no more.
Maybe they've got rid of the token because do you need a?
You're right. You don't need a token for that. I mean, if you're just a blockchain service company, just be a blockchain service company. You know what I mean? You don't need to. But I remember there was a ticker RSK BTC or something like that. Bro,
yeah, I remember.
That disappeared, man.
Oh. That's gone, vanished. Yeah, I mean,
Poof. But wait, you say they vanished, but they got a conference coming up, bro.
Yeah,
9th of November to 10th of November, 2023. Where is it?
I don't know. Are we pulling up?
Oh, it's in well, it's in Spanish, but I don't know what country it's in. But
I know they were active in
Spanish developers.
I know they were active in South America because I went to way back in like maybe 2019. We went to like a dev meetup. I think Rick, we've been to that place in London.
Yeah. Yoti in London, yeah.
Yes, that's the one. Yeah. And I think that's where I first heard about it. And I think they said they're really active in South America. So maybe that's where their presence is more.
But it's clear to say the idea flopped because it ain't going nowhere, fam. Like, obviously, clearly the Bitcoin community has said no to smart contract on BTC because, yeah.
I mean, if you look at the devs, then by what you're saying, that's true.
Yeah.
Can't disagree with that. But that is the end of the podcast. We'll be back again in 2 weeks with more interesting topics. And until then, we'll see you in the next one. Peace.